Good afternoon. Today I'm going to be talking about the World Bank Climate Action Program in Ethiopia. A recent press report released by the World Bank on February 28th of this year showed that the annual average losses to GDP in Ethiopia are expected to range between 1 to 1.5 and seen to rise by 5% by 2040, potentially pushing millions of Ethiopians into poverty. Ethiopians are currently experiencing the very stark impacts of the prolonged drought, the worst they've seen in the last 40 years, with water and food insecurity becoming devastating and flooding and damaged infrastructure disrupting livelihoods. The new Country Climate and Development Report for Ethiopia, CCDR, sounds the alarm regarding the increasing impacts of climate change that are threatening Ethiopia's development prospects. This initiative is designed to build resilience and leverage opportunities in the face of climate change impacts in Ethiopia. The program focuses on integrating climate considerations into various sectors, including water and land management, and enhancing disaster risk management capacities. Why is this program innovative? The Climate Action in Ethiopia program is innovative due to its integrative and comprehensive approach. It incorporates climate adaptation and migration strategies across many different sectors, including agriculture, water resource, and urban development. By embedding climate resilience into national policies and planning, the program not only addresses immediate climate risks, but also promotes sustainable development practices so that the community can withstand future climate impacts. So in this program, we're seeing a lot of early warning responses and early warning initiatives, and that is why I find this to be innovative, as that is something we are pushing for in the humanitarian field, but it's not something that we are so commonly actively seeing played out. So I thought that this was refreshing to see, and hopefully can be used as a model for other countries that are experiencing similar impacts, that they can implement this as well. So some examples seen in this program include climate smart agriculture, which is sustainable agriculture practices such as intercropping, crop rotation, agroforestry, and the use of drought-resistant crop varieties, and organic fertilizers. So these practices improve soil fertility, reduce erosion, and ultimately improve the farmer's ability to cope and adapt with changing environments, which increases productivity, and they get to learn about practices that improve soil health. So ultimately helping with adaptation, which we're seeing is incredibly important. Next is water resource management. So this initiative focuses on enhancing water management skills, including the construction of small-grade irrigation schemes, rainwater harvesting, and watershed management. So these aim to mitigate the impacts of drought and floods, helping to ensure a more reliable water source for agriculture and domestic use. Next, we're going to talk about disaster risk management. So a big part of this was strengthening early warning systems and disaster preparedness, which is a key component. So this program supports the development of community-based disaster risk management plans and capacity building initiatives and activities to enhance the resilience of vulnerable populations, as we're seeing that regions that are constantly being affected by climate disasters and crises, their resilience capacities are becoming lower. So enhancing that, it has many benefits for if and when the next one does come. Impact on communities. So the program aims to improve the resilience of communities to climate change by enhancing their ability to manage natural resources more effectively and sustainably. For instance, as mentioned, the improved water management techniques help communities better cope with droughts and floods, reducing the risk of food insecurity and water scarcity by helping to ensure a more stable supply. Additionally, by supporting sustainable agriculture practices, this program helps farmers increase their productivity while preserving the environment through practices such as crop diversification and soil conservation. So lastly, enhanced early warning and disaster risk management plans enable communities to anticipate and respond more effectively to climate-related disasters. This reduces the impact of not if it does happen, as I mentioned before. It's not if, it's when. So this helps strengthen communities' resilience for when these disasters do occur. Potential drawbacks or challenges. So one potential that we have seen in most humanitarian programs is the challenge of finding enough initial substantial investments and continuous funding to maintain and scale the initiatives. There also will be problems, most likely, with coordinating efforts across various sectors. That's another issue we've seen throughout this program as well. So that's ensuring that all stakeholders, local communities, government agencies, and international partners are all aligned in their objectives and actions, which we've seen to be incredibly challenging. And lastly, there may be some resistance to change from communities as they are accustomed to their traditional practices. So this requires extensive education and capacity building efforts to help with the community's quote unquote buy-in of these new practices. So it's one thing to implement the practices, but it's another to then get the community on board with it and wanting and willing to adapt in that aspect. So to scale the climate action in Ethiopia program, several strategies could be employed. Strengthening partnerships, as mentioned before, forming strong collaborations with international donors, private sector investors, which was heavily highlighted throughout this, and local governments provide the necessary technical support and financial support to expand the program's reach. So this includes partnerships with organizations like the Green Climate Fund and the Global Environment Facility. Leveraging technology, so using advanced technologies such as satellite monitoring, like we read in last week's reading, and productive analysis for disaster risk reduction, and mobile platforms for agricultural extension can help enhance the program's effectiveness. Policy integration is incredibly crucial as well, ensuring that climate resistance is a core component of national and regional policies to facilitate broader adoption and implementation of the program strategies. So this includes integrating climate adaptation and mitigation into development and planning allocation processes. Lastly, community engagement. Engaging local communities through participatory approaches can help tailor solutions to specific local needs. So this really stressing the bottom-up approach, involving local leadership and affected populations in the planning and implementation of these type of programs can really help with the overall effectiveness and sustainability of the program. So by addressing these challenges and employing these strategies, the Climate Action in Ethiopia program can serve as a model for other countries facing similar climate-related challenges, thereby continuing to global climate resilience and sustainable development efforts. So I really think this is a great program and a great model for the future. Thank you.